Hello. Welcome to Dan Explains It All. Today we're here to talk about Minim. Minim is inspired by Rêver, the collaboration we've done with Datachoir over the last year. That was a lot of fun. This is a lot of fun. So let's have a lot of fun. It's easiest to think of Minim in two separate blocks. One is a reverse section. What it does is it takes a signal and reverses it. The other has a reverb and a delay, and both the reverb and the delay have three controls over different parameters. So with that in mind, let's look at the individual blocks. Also, worthy of note, standard 9-volt center negative DC power. Current draw is something like 190 milliamps, so make sure you're running it on something that can do that. Let's start with the reverb and delay section. Also, I guess I should mention the order toggle now. We'll come back to it later in more detail, but basically the order toggle decides where the reverse block is in the signal chain. So it can come first before the reverb and delay, or last after the reverb and delay. Right now we'll have it set before, but we're just going to listen to the reverb first. So the reverb in Minim is a lightly modulated reverb. There's a lot of different subtle voicing changes to it. Let's start with the mix control. When I turn it all the way down, reverb is gone. We've got basically just dry signal now. As I turn it up, it'll steadily blend up to the point where there's no dry signal. Soft. Put that back to about noon. And now let's introduce some modulation. So the modulation knob simultaneously controls the rate and the depth of the modulation, which can best be described as something like a harmonic tremolo. It's not exactly that, but it has some qualities of it. And basically, as you turn that knob up, the rate will get continually faster. The depth will get deeper up until about halfway and then start to get shallower again. So in a way, the most extreme effects are right in the middle. But at max, you hear that very light, very fast modulation. Finally, the last control of the reverb section is the decay knob. So the decay sets the length of your trails. When it's all the way down, the trails of your reverb are going to be fairly short. As you turn it up, you introduce some more feedback into it, and the trails just go longer until by the time you've maxed it out, it can get pretty washy and long. Modulation just continues to add that subtle movement throughout. So that's the reverb section. Now, the reverb always feeds into the delay section. So we're going to turn the mix all the way down in order to hear exclusively the delay. When I turn up the delay knob, it increases the volume of the delayed signal. So you'll notice that at top, you still get the dry signal, but a good loud repeat alongside it. So it doesn't work like a mix control, it's just a delay volume. We'll set it somewhere like Unity. You'll also hear that the delay is modulated. This is a fixed chorus-like modulation, and so when you turn the time all the way down, with the feedback all the way down as well, the delay section is basically a chorus section. As you turn the time up, it's a more traditional modulated delay sound. And you can go up to, I think, about 400 milliseconds. It's a little bit shy of half a second on the time knob. Then you can use the feedback knob to introduce feedback into the delay. So at the bottom of its range, you get one repeat. And as you bring it up, you get more repeats. Fully maxed out, it won't oscillate, but it'll get really close. So if you keep feeding it stuff, it'll get intense. But then just back it off, and it's a nice delay again. So to show you how the reverb goes into the delay, I'm going to bring the mix back up on our reverb. Hear how it creates a much more washed out texture because the delay is getting a little bit of your dry and a good helping of reverb at the same time, so it just really washes the whole thing out. So that's the first part. That's the reverb and delay section. Let's check out the reverse now. Go back to dry signal. First we'll talk about the reverse knob. So this controls the mix between forward and reverse signal when the reverse section is activated. So right now I've got the mix maxed out and you still only hear your dry signal. And now you get full reverse signal. And this switch can either be a latching or a momentary switch. Basically, if you tap it, it'll latch to a position, so I can tap it off, tap it on. Then you can hold it to go into the other position. So I can hold it to turn off, and when I let go, it's back in the on position, and vice versa. So let's leave it on while we explore a bit. I'm gonna back the mix off to about 50-50. And now you hear how you get the original dry signal and this half-second reversed version of it interacting with each other. Really nice sound. So that's the basics of the reverse block, but you're probably wondering about this speed toggle up top. So right now we have that fixed half-second reverse where it's reading back your signal at the same speed it's taking it in at. If we flip the toggle, it doubles the speed. So now it's reading each piece twice and twice as fast as it should be. So you get all these octave up effects and each note gets doubled in these very interesting ways. Again, you can max up a mix. A very glitchy, sprightly sound. Or bring in dry signal for a little clarity. Also, I should note now that there's an expression jack here. The expression jack allows you to plug in an external expression slider or expression pedal in order to control this reverse mix on the fly. So you can treat it as like a steady blending. If you were doing this with your foot, it'd probably make a lot more sense. So that's that. Let's make sure the order switch is first. Yes, it is. So you hear how, let's go back to a more normal reverse sound, and let's go ahead and max it out. So this can be almost a little bit glitchy because it's just constantly wrapping around every half second. So a way to wash this out is by setting the order toggle to the right in order to put the reverse first in the chain. That way you can feed it into the reverb to start to wash it out. Then feed that into the delay to just further stretch it. So it really softens those edges. Now if we flip the order toggle the other way, the reverse section will go at the end of the chain. So the reverb and delay will get your dry signal, and then that'll get passed into the reverse block. So you again get those choppy textures out of it. You can also go back to double speed. pass audio back and forth by You're not really supposed to do this, but I just think it sounds really cool because you can get further rising octaves out of it. So that's it. That's Minim. Reverb, delay, reverse. Subtle, controllable blocks that you can combine together to create all kinds of different textures. Available now.